Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
Doesn't everyone go to the theater? I hope you do. I do. Get away from that television set and your laptop and all that. Just go to the theater, and I'm going to tell you which theater to go to. It's the Lake Worth Playhouse. And under the artistic direction of JODIE Dixon MEARS, you'll be amazed at what they can do. So, good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak with everyone.
Yes, I'm so glad that you're here. And I have the whole rundown on all the upcoming shows. And I see that the first one coming up, October the 6th to the 23rd, is the strangest name because I never saw it. But you tell us about what it is.
It's called Urinetown the Musical, and it's a satirical look at comedy and musical theater. And it says within the first few lines of the show, it's a stupid title. And I look at it this way. It is a love letter to musical theater because every single number is what we used to call the 11 o'clock number, the big finale, the end of Act 1, the end of Act 2. So you'll see bits of Les Mis come out. You'll see bits of Three Penny Opera come out. You will see bits of West Side Story come out. They cover everything with following a very silly storyline.
So who is the producer of the Urinetown?
Urinetown, the Lake Worth Playhouse is producing this musical. And it's under the direction of Clayton Phillips. He's one of our directors that has been with us for many, many seasons. He loves this show. He actually proposed it to me over 10 years ago, and I was like, wait for it. It's time now.
And who is the playwright?
The playwright, well, it's a musical, so you have several.
Right.
And the lyrics, music and lyrics, Mark Hallman and Greg Katos wrote the show. And it just deals with so many things that we're dealing with now: corruption, bureaucracy, corporate greed, and, down to the most basic a human need is everybody has to go to the bathroom. And especially as older gals, we have to go a lot more.
And the men have to get up in the middle of the night and go, right?
That's right.
Oh, so that's very interesting. Well, I know I want to keep talking about this and your future shows, but I do want to put in a good word for the Rock of Ages. See, I have an older husband, and when I told him we're going to see that, and I'm bringing another couple who are older, he said, well, we probably won't like it. I said, look, everything they do is great. Let's just go. Well, let me tell you, they're clapping their hands. They're smiling. My husband loved that show so much.
It was so much fun to produce. And any of us, that lived through the 80s with all that great music, it was just fun to go back. It's a silly script. It directly talks to the audience. And it was just I would bring it back year after year if I could.
Well, your performers, of course, make the difference. The star of it was an amazing actor.
Yes, and we're very lucky to have, a lot of those cast members from Rock of Ages are in Urinetown also, because you cannot beat those voices.
Super. Well, I'm glad to know that. So, okay, well, Urinetown will be playing, as I said originally, October the 6th to the 23rd. We want you to start to get your tickets now, and the way you're going to do that, you're going to call 561-586-6410. Remember, this is Pencil Talk Radio. Get your pencils. So much we're going to talk about that you'll want to do this. Now, take a subscription. That's the best way. Then you're assured a ticket, a seat. You're going to love this. So, again, it's 561-586-6410. I hope you got that. I did it slowly. Okay, so...
And also note to go on our website, lakeworthplayhouse.org. You can buy your tickets right off the website.
Oh, yeah, that's really easy. All right, now let's talk about the next show after Urinetown.
It's a very, very funny comedy. It's a newer show. It's called Death by Design, and it's a comedy with murder, they call it. And it is... when I read it, I said, these are the characters of Agatha Christie. but with no coward language. So it's British. It moves at a very fast pace. It's set in the 30s with a bunch of actors all showing up for a weekend. And, of course, everything goes wrong.
Right. Death by design, huh? That's
Death by
really
design.
Interesting. Death by design, okay.
They started rehearsals last night. It's an awesome cast, and everybody loves a good murder mystery. And this one even surprised me at the end. I was like, "You got me, you got me." After that, we of course opened.
No, wait.
with
You said
ANITA.
something that you're already starting
Yes,
work on
yes,
that. So how
yes.
soon do you have to start your shows?
Usually we go for a musical, we'll go 8 weeks out. Since we are a community theater, we can only rehearse in the evenings because all our performers, either hold daytime jobs or go to school. So we have to, we don't have the luxury of going in 8 hours a day for 2 weeks,
I see.
as in professional theaters do. So we just stretch ours out over 6 to 8 weeks usually
I see.
per show.
But now the theater, is it not used for movies also?
Yes, we have a small movie theater connected to us. It's the Stanzik Studio Theater, which we also have a black box series. Not only do we do the movies, but we have a series of 3 plays that happen during this season also. And these are usually shows that we cannot, really get away with on our main stage show, our main stage. So, they're more current shows, and they deal with a heavier subject matter most of the time.
And so it's called the Black Box. And,
The Black Box series.
all right,
And
we never hear about that. Maybe some of our listeners would like to know.
it's a smaller theater. We have 70 seats in there, and we're doing some great shows this season. It's called Reasons to Be Pretty by Neil LaBute, New Country by Mark Roberts, and Good People by David Lindsay Abher. And it's just they're not big shows, they're small shows, and they deal with a little bit of a heavier subject matter, and they're also very funny.
Good.
They make you think. It's theater that will, we love our main stage because we get to have fun, and whereas in the little theater we go, because some of our younger actors really want to dig deep into some of these scripts.
So it's theater for the mind, right?
Yes, it is. And you might hear some language in there, so be ready.
Sure. Well, maybe that's something I ought to attend one of them. I hadn't even known
please.
about it, so
Yes.
I will call and see when that's coming up. You have one coming up?
Yes, we do. We have one coming up, actually. Let me see. The first one is October 20th we open.
October 20th. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to write that down. And it's just one night?
No, there are. It's over a couple of weekends.
Okay. Oh, weekends. Okay, good. All right. Well, and of course, I must say that Lake Worth, the whole downtown area, is just hopping.
Yes,
It's
lots of
popping.
fun.
You don't have to worry about eating because there's so many restaurants. It's safe. It's fun. So just make it a whole evening.
Just make it a whole evening. I mean, we partner with a lot of the restaurants here. You can do a dinner and a show, which, some of the restaurants, like Paradiso, is a little pricey, and Calero's next to us, but they have worked with us and set menus for us, so you can go get a great meal and then just walk right over to the theater.
Right. It's great. And so nice. And the people, the staff you have are so nice.
They're awesome
They
people.
really are. They're friendly. They're very nice. Okay. Now, how dare you do Evita? That's such a big show.
I know. Believe it or not, we were supposed to do this several years ago, and then the Malta Jupiter Theater decided to produce it, so we had to drop our production. And then the next year, I said, okay, we're going to do Evita, and they took it back to Broadway, and they wouldn't allow me. So finally I said, we have to do it. I've been promising the subscribers for years. And I'm really looking forward to Evita because we have a great director, Erin Tittleman, coming on to help us out. And she has quite an eye for talent, and, of course, she's a singer, and any woman, that can sing on tune would love to play Evita. I've aged out of her, so.
So that someone has a blonde wig and everything, right?
That's right. And it's great music. This is one of Andrew Lloyd Webber when he was still writing with Tim Rice. And
and of course having a woman, with Hillary running, and now having Evita, it's so perfect. Let's see.
It's so perfect.
That's
it's so
right.
perfect.
Well, hopefully, I won't get into politics.
No.
Okay, okay, but that's really lovely, and I'm so happy about that. And now they can't take it away from you now, can they?
No, they better not.
Okay.
They better not.
All right.
I will send my subscribers to them if they try.
Right. We'll okay. So, the Sugar Bean Sisters, what is that?
It is a great, and they call it a Southern Gothic comedy. And it just is a story of romance, of murder, and alien abduction. And it takes place in Florida, dealing with the sugar fields. And it's the sisters that one thinks she was visited by the space people, and they will be returning to pick her up. Another of the sisters disappeared, and they don't know what happened to her. And then another one of the sisters wants to go and marry a Mormon preacher.
That's good.
And it's just it's hard to describe this comedy. It's quirky, and it just when I read the first line, it hooked me right away. And it has a moment of as any good show does, where it really touches the heart about family and what your belief system is, but it's all done with humor.
Well, the Sugar Bean Sisters, certainly the name's
it's a show
good.
I've had my eye on for many years, and I know I have some dynamite actresses because it's 4 women and 1 man that get to perform in this show.
Well, and one thing I must compliment you on, who does your graphics? I love them.
Well, we have Nicole, she's our marketing gal, and her background is in graphic design.
Oh, I know, Nicole. I did not know that. So she's the one that does these spectacular covers.
Yes. Yes, she works hard, and she gets them up there.
And that's March the 2nd to the 19th. Evita is January the 19th to February 5th.
Yes.
All right. And then my favorite at the end. Oh, I
know.
love that.
I love this show also. I was lucky enough to see the original with Robert Klein and Lucy Arnaz, and it's just such a fun show. And a lot of my younger actors are like, I don't know this show. And I'm like, get me to the script and listen to this music. Marvin Hamlish, who wrote a chorus line, and Carol Bayer Sager, who we all know, and then You Can't Beat. It's a Neil Simon script.
And so they're playing our song.
Yes. Set in the 70s during the disco era.
Yep. They're playing our song. And Neil Simon, I just heard Neil Simon. Did you happen to catch one of his interviews? I think he's at 93 now.
Oh, God love him.
And he is so sharp. And
that's right.
Yeah, he was talking about a lot of things, and I'm pretty sure that's, I did hear him. He was just absolutely, I'm sure it was Neil Simon. I was thinking now there's another famous guy that,
Mel Brooks was on not too long ago.
I know that.
Also.
No, I think it was Neil Simon. But anyway, because he's still living, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it was Neil.
Oh, yeah.
And he was so funny. And he was talking about all these things that he did. But this show, so how many people is it? How many people are in that?
Actually, there's 2 main characters, and then there's 3 male egos and 3 female egos.
Oh.
And they are, the 3 different aspects of each of their personalities that come out during the numbers and really sing what they're thinking.
That's funny. I just heard
it's a great little premise for a show, and not too many people do it. And so I just love it. And I know I have great actors that are looking forward to performing
I don't think you can miss with a Neil Simon show. I just don't think any of them.
No. And it's because it's great writing, and
Yes.
Marvin Hamlish's music is just beautiful.
Now let's talk about that music. So when I saw Rock of Ages, you actually had your own band there.
Yes, we did.
What are you going to do about what do you do with the others? Do you have piped in music? What are you going to do with Evita?
where for Urinetown we had to go with tracks, only because trying to find music directors that understand what theater, how to conduct a theater show, they're hard to find and they get scooped up right away. So I had to track that one. Evita, of course, I'm going to track that one because it's such big music that I think it does a disservice. Because I can only afford so many musicians.
Oh, sure. No, and people would understand that, and they're waiting for the music, and if any of the music wasn't perfect, it'd be very upset.
Right. It would. What's the point of listening to somebody play, Don't Cry for Me, Aren't You, on a piano? No.
Right. No.
But they're playing our song, We'll Be a Live Band.
Okay. That's great. Well, I don't know if when I talked to you before, did I ever ask you how you got into this wild world of theater?
No, I don't think you ever have, but I started way back when I was in high school. And one of my first performances, I would say, was at the Royal Point Siena Playhouse, which still stands but does not operate.
Right.
But the Lake Worth Playhouse, I was in many a show at the Lake Worth Playhouse. And back in those days, it was the only theater around.
Really?
Us and the Delray Beach Playhouse. And for many years, that was it. That was our entertainment here in South Florida. So my background, has always been in theater. I have a bachelor's in theater. I have a master's in theater. I spent years teaching theater and doing professional theater. And then the Playhouse called me one day and said, well, how would you like to come aboard? And I said, I would love to.
Well, let's go way back. When you were 5 and 7, were you always acting, singing?
Oh, yeah, my mom couldn't shut me up.
Did you grow up here in South Florida?
I actually moved to South Florida when I was 10 years old from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. And that was back in the 70s, early 70s we got here. So, I've watched Florida grow up. And, it has really come a long way in the arts. I think we can go further, but we're getting there. We're getting there.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I think what I really hope for theater is that we can rely on more of our local talent, because it just breaks my heart to see when they bring in talent from other places. I can understand if you cannot find what you need here in South Florida to go elsewhere, but we have an amazing amount of talent here in this state. And, you in professional theaters, you're going to pay a lot more because they have to house those actors and, bring them in, get them cars and stuff like that. Whereas we're a community theater. It's a volunteer. They're doing it because they really, really love it. It's not a job for them. It's their passion. So, we can keep our ticket prices down, but still give just as much talent out on that stage. I will put them up against anyone in Palm Beach County.
and do the musicians get paid?
Of course, I have to pay the musicians.
Yeah, right. Well, I understand that's different.
And if it was, and that's what I said, if I could afford to pay actors, I would, but I can't. And just because you're getting paid doesn't mean you're really, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I do understand.
I've watched some theater where I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And a lot of our actors, they get started here, they cut their teeth here, they get their training here, and then they go out, and you will see them on the professional stages. A lot of my directors are professional directors that, when I do a show that they love and they want to direct, they'll take what I can pay them and come in just because they have a passion for what they do.
But I still think when it comes down to it, the artistic director can make or break the show. I mean, you do the casting, I'm sure. And
well, I help with the directors.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. I allow them to direct cast their shows, but I do have an input.
Sure. But you do actually choose the shows for the season, do you not?
Yes, I do.
And you know enough about them, and you've seen a lot of the shows, so you know the way it's supposed to look. Let's talk about the set design.
Okay. Cindy Taylor is our our designer, and she is phenomenal. She can make magic out of, what do I call it? Glue
Paper
gun.
boxes.
A glue gun, masking tape, and paint. But and Steve Graybill, our TV, he builds a beautiful set. Cindy designs it and paints it, and they're just lovely. And it's heartbreaking sometimes to watch some of them come down after the show's over. I try to keep as many pieces as possible to reuse them again. I have a lot of Spamalot, Bigfoot, and hanging around the theater, but it's the design is just beautiful, and we have such a glorious stage to put it on. I love to watch people's reactions when they walk through the theater doors.
Right. What is
They don't
this?
Expect what they're going to see.
Carnegie Hall? Here in Lake Worth?
And then and then they see this amazing set sitting up there.
Right. Well, I don't know if you know that I actually was the chairman of the board of the Florida Repertory Theater for 7 years.
I did not know that.
Yes, with Keith Baker. I was a board member, and then, they convinced me to do this, and we worked so hard. And I kept saying to Keith, like when he went to do Man of La Mancha, because there were actors, it was a repertory. We can't afford that, Keith. And so when you say that, I mean, I have really been very much into theater, and I understand what you're saying. And
yes.
Oh my goodness. I said, why don't we do 2 people plays? There's so many of them.
I know, and those of us, who really love the theater, we don't care how many people are on stage as long as it's a good script.
Good.
But, unfortunately, people want to see the big ones.
Yeah.
And they want to see, and that's even this season. I said, we have to step out of the box. It's time to do some of the newer shows that have not been done. Because we've run the gamut. We've done them all. We're going to have to just start doing them over and over again. So, but there's newer musicals out there, and I think people need to see and hear them. They will be entertained.
I would like to tell everybody this delightful guest is JODIE Dixon Mears. She's the artistic director of the Lake Worth Playhouse, and the phone number to get tickets now. You can buy a subscription. It's not expensive like a lot of other theaters, and it's well worth it. It's 561-586-6410, or you can go on the web to lakeworthplayhouse.org, lakeworthplayhouse.org. It's a lovely evening because there's lots of things going on before the show, after the show, and it's, as JODIE said, you'll be very surprised when you get there. One thing, JODIE, I want you to tell you that, because I go to a lot of theater, a lot of the culture events, you have quite a mixed bag there of audience.
Yes, we do. And it was something when I came in, I started here in 2004, and, during the summers, most theaters closed down, and we said, we're not going to do that anymore. We're going to do shows because it's a non-subscription audience. These are all single ticket buyers. So we started with the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and we did that live on stage, and we were blown away by the response of that. So every summer, it's like now the minute the summer show's over, everybody's like, well, what are we going to do next summer? I'm like, I don't know. But we said we needed to capture a younger audience. To keep theater alive and going. And I'm happy to say that I love walking into our theater because I see teenagers. I see 20-year-olds, 30-year-olds, 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, and above. We have such a great mixture of people. We colorblind cast. If you are right for the part, I don't care what color, heritage you are, you're going to get that part.
Why do you think you've been able to do something that a lot of the theaters can't do, that the audience is not mostly over 60?
I don't know. I mean, I used to hear build it and they will come, and just reaching out to the community. I get out there as much as I can, and I let people know. Theater is not for the elite. It's about us being in the trenches, being in the stalls. just getting art, there's so many messages to get out there. And I think, I have a big mouth. And I can be clever at times.
Pretty mouth, but large.
And I tell them, I said, it's fun. It's just fun. And just come and join our fun. And I hope that it's infectious and it keeps them coming back. And, some people won't care for a script, but they'll respect the work that was put into it. And that's all I can ask for.
But you're choosing very carefully. What you're choosing is really very good. It's not really esoteric as some theaters do. But the other part about all this is you were just saying, it's one thing to sit and watch a movie. You go to a good movie and it's spellbinding. Or you sit in front of your TV. But when you go and hear live theater or a live concert, there's just nothing like that.
Nothing.
I mean, as a matter of fact, when I've gone to your theater, I say to myself, where did she get this talent? What, these people, how can they remember all those lines?
It's like a muscle. The more you work it, the better it is. Yeah, and it's especially Rock of Ages.
Yeah, God.
Cat Gold, when she opened her mouth and
right.
sang, and she's playing, the lead here in Urinetown.
Oh, really? Oh,
She's
good.
Just, that voice. It's like, where does it come from? And she can act, and she dances, and it's just, I can honestly say when we did Hairspray here a couple of summers back,
I saw that also.
The young woman that played Motormouth Mabel, Nicole Lee,
right.
She passed away this summer.
Oh.
Very unexpectedly.
Oh.
Far too young. I said, but I had never been in a theater where in the middle of a song people rose to their feet to applaud her.
I remember all that. Well, Jodie, we've just now completed this glorious interview, and I'm going to get you back maybe after a few of the shows. Maybe we'll get you back at Death or for sure Evita. So I'll be there promoting you as much as I can and always attending.
Thank you so much. And call me anytime. I will be there.
Jodie. Thank you so much. All right. Bye.
Have an awesome day, everyone.